sorry, no more crossword puzzle time. Hope you guys enjoyed that though. That was something Matt put together and passed over to us a few minutes ago. Kind of a fun way to bring it in, right? Welcome. It is Friday afternoon. It's time for SketchUp Live. I'm Aaron. With me today is my good buddy Donovan.
I'm Donovan.
Hey, there we go.
Yep.
And we're going to do our best to keep our levels correct. So if anybody sounds louder or softer, anything like that, please let us know. But, we did some brief testing, very brief, and it seemed okay-ish. So also, welcome. Thank you for coming in. Everybody's shouting out where they're from. It's pretty cool to see people from all over the place. And hopefully you like that crossword puzzle. Dom and I were just kind of chuckling, like, how funny would it be if we put up a crossword puzzle that had no actual words in it? It was just a bunch of letters. Because I spent a good 5 minutes staring at it, wondering what it was I was looking for. But yeah.
Yeah, it could have been one of those like Facebook crossword puzzles where it's like the first word you find describes your personality, and you're like, come on.
I found if and two. Those could have been coincidences. Awesome. Well, hey guys, welcome to SketchUp Live. We're going to do some modeling today. We've got to do some really cool. If you guys haven't seen the live streams since the start of the year, we spent 5 weeks, 6 weeks working on a coffee shop, inside, outside, equipment, all of it. It was a very fun model. It was collaborative amongst all the modelers. It was really cool. Today I wanted to get a little more down to earth, a little more, I won't say practical, but we're just going to scale it down. I want to make some objects for 3D printing. I personally like 3D printing. I think it's a great technology. It's a lot of fun. But I know when I started 3D printing especially, I created a lot of stuff. Those little figures, or how many succulent planters do you need to print when you own a printer? Little little things this big to put a baby cactus in. That stuff's all awesome. It is cool. It's fun. It's nice to go to Thingiverse, download a file, and print it. But it's pretty cool when you have the ability to create something out of plastic that you can actually use. So that could be a replacement part, or that could be something made from scratch. But I had a couple models that I wanted to make that I thought would be kind of fun modeling. So just a fun things to model, but also, a good way to get practical use out of a 3D printer. Donovan, you have a 3D printer too, right?
I do. I have a love-hate relationship with it,
Sounds
as
right.
with all 3D printers.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do have a 3D printer. It's on and running most days.
That's good. That's good. That's get the miles out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments too. If you do have a 3D printer, shout out the name of your printer. Give us that in the comments, whether you're coming in from LinkedIn, YouTube, or the other ones. LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Facebook and X. Yep. What kind of printer do you have?
I have two printers. They're both from the company Elegoo. I have a Neptune, which is an FDM printer, and a Mars, which is a resin printer. So both of them are on tables behind me. So, and what was yours?
Mine's a Prusa.
Prusa. That's right. Cool. Yeah, so let's hear what you guys are running, and we will hop over and start modeling. All right, so like I said, there's three things that I would like to model for printing. I took pictures. I have several pictures. I'll just import them and throw them on the ground in SketchUp so we can reference them. Some of them will be more specific, like exact dimension kind of thing. Some of them are going to be a little more freeform, have a little more space to work in it. The first one came from a very practical issue that I ran into, and that was this guy right here. See this little thing? You guys probably, some of you have seen this. Dave chimed in on the forum that he has seen them. It's about $3 to get a pack of 2 of these. Yes, they're not expensive. They go on the back of a drawer, not a drawer that's on like. Uh-oh, I'm gonna run into some term now. You guys are totally surprised with this. I'm gonna make some terms up, but not the ones that have the little wheelie rolly things on the side to come out, but they have the like in a dresser, a wooden thing in the back that sits on the back of the drawer, and the little wood rail goes in there and it slides out, keeps it going straight, and then when it comes out to the very end, it keeps it from tipping out because this little hook part goes around the rail. So there's probably a name for this, and if you know the name, go ahead
Chopper.
and shout that out in the forum. Uh, as Dave pointed out, see, I actually have 2 of these right here, and they are both broken. As Dave pointed out, these are not expensive to replace. They are super cheap. The problem I ran into in trying to replace these is I could not find one that the rail was the perfect size. I found several that were wider, taller, but this slot in the middle, I could not find one at 2 hardware stores that was the same. So I stopped looking and I just printed it. So I'm just doing disclaimers now. This is some kind of, it's kind of a waxy plastic, maybe Delrin or something like that. But I'm of course printing it in PLA, and spoiler, I actually already did this and it works perfectly fine. So, but yeah, I'm gonna try to make something that's gonna replace this. And if I can, crank this out in half an hour, print for another hour, or something like that, that works for me as opposed to driving around to hardware stores or even buying off of Amazon. So, because I got it, right? It's here. Why not use it? So, yeah. So this is one of the pieces we're gonna do. The other thing I want to do is I have a vacuum in my. I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of rambling. Just finished my second cup of coffee. I have a vacuum in my shop. My workbench is right here next to my desk, and I have a mini vacuum in there, but I don't have any nozzles to it, like nothing to, hook into the end to like suck up dust or anything like that. It's got a bigger opening on the end of the hose like this that hooks up to my miniature bandsaw and my miniature table saw. So it's great for collecting dust, but to vacuum afterwards, I don't have any nozzles in there. So I want to do something there. And then I have a planter that I want to hang on the side of my window, but I need something to kind of like an arm to come out and hang it on. So I figured all those things, I could absolutely buy them. I could find them. I could, get them. But I have the printer and I have a big fresh spool of plastic, so might as well draw it and print it, right? So let's do that.
What's been your favorite thing to print on your printer so far?
I'll have to think about that. I do a lot of props and stuff, like stuff that I like from movies or TV shows or comic books, stuff like that. So I think some of my favorite stuff has been modeling and printing those kinds of things. Like I have a Chris knife from Dune, a couple lightsabers behind me, the sword from Legend of Zelda. So I think that's my favorite stuff, is that kind of
Yeah,
stuff that I get to just. But
prop
again,
making.
it's not the practical stuff. It's the stuff
Yeah,
I do for the fun of doing it, and then it just sits. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it sits with purpose.
that's right. Purposefully
I'm
sit there and don't do anything. That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna justify that too because I'm building a hobbit hole under our stairs, and decorating it out like bag end. And one of the things that I'm making is Sting that's gonna be on a mounted pedestal in the hobbit hole. And so I 3D printed a Sting that's it's not gonna do anything. It's gonna look pretty, but
That works.
yeah.
All right. So here is the thing. The drawer slide, I think maybe. Did anybody ever come up with a good
Yeah,
name for this?
in the comments, the drawer guide, drawer slide
Guide.
guide,
There we go.
runner guide, retainer, drawer retainer.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that has more syllables. Let's go with that. Yes,
Drawer slide guide is funner to say though.
that is true.
So
All right. So we got this thing. I do have, so like I said, I have the original, the broken piece right here. I have a set of calipers right here. If you're gonna go do this kind of stuff, I recommend grabbing a pair of calipers. They're rarely very expensive. This one's a hard one to 3D print instead of buying, so just purchase the tool. But yeah, a good set of calipers is a great way to do this kind of measuring and printing. Okay, so the other thing, so generally speaking, when I print for, or when I model for 3D printing, I will model in millimeters. Again, I don't really think in millimeters very much. I've been indoctrinated. I think in foot, inches, and sixteenths. It's just how I came up. But when I start measuring something and modeling it small, I'll do it in millimeters. In some cases, we've talked about this on the show before. We're talking about the small face issue where SketchUp was created to model, large architectural things. So creating real small faces can be a problem. I don't think it's going to be an issue with this thing. I'm not going to go in and make, an 80 segment curve for this little guy right here. This would probably be fine with 3 or 4 pieces. So as long as I stay realistic with my arcs, my curves, I think I can model this full size, proper size. And
So do you
Mhm.
model and measure, or do you measure and model, then model?
I usually model or measure piece by piece and then model it as I go. So that's what I'll do here. I brought this picture up not so much to, like, I'm not going to come in here and trace it or anything like this. This is more just to
Uh-oh.
reference where I'm pulling
Uh-oh,
measurements
Aaron.
from.
I can't hear you.
Really? Did your headphones come out?
Am I the only one?
I
Am
don't
I
know.
the only one that can't hear you, Aaron?
Is there
In the
anybody else
comments,
who
did
can't hear?
Aaron just cut out for anybody else or just me? Oh,
Uh,
looks like it might have been just me.
Lawrence can hear okay. Oh, yeah. Hold on 1 second, Donovan. All right, does that sound better?
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
I panicked for a
That
second.
that one was on Google. That was chat said it stopped finding my mic some reason. Okay, we're back. We're here. Okay, so what I want to do, I'll take this, and I got this one just so you can see the depth of this thing. I'm just gonna take this way down here, probably more than that even, and that way I can just talk about what measurements I'm pulling off of here. So one thing for sure with this is symmetric. Well, this isn't symmetric. It's the final thing is supposed to be symmetric. So I'm only going to model half of it, right? So I'm not going to model both pieces and risk something falling apart. So what I will generally do is I'll try to create a surface. So I'm going to try to maybe create a rectangle that is, all the way around here, and then I'll work from there. So maybe my first dimension will be this one here. How tall is this thing? So that's where I'll take the calipers, throw it in here and go, okay, it's about 40 millimeters. So I'll do something like this, draw a line, go up 40 millimeters. All right, and there we go. So these two are how far apart is top to bottom. That's a pretty good guess when I scaled that down. The other thing I'm going to do, and I didn't do this yet, is I'm going to go to Window, Model Info, change from architectural to decimal, and switch to millimeters. I'm not really worried about the area. I'm not going to pull the area out of this or anything like that. So I'm not concerned about that. Setting units just means when I come in here and I start measuring or drawing lines, it's going to show me units down here. So if I draw a line from here to here, it confirms that is 40. That's why I'm doing that. If you type in the unit as you draw, then you don't have to worry about that. It'll still, my units can be set to feet, and I can still go in and draw something in millimeters. That works fine. So as far as length from one side to the other, I actually have 2 of these. One of them broke. You can see it broke all the way up here, so it's hard to pull a full dimension off of the length there. This other one, where I got this little piece is just barely dangling, I can fortunately pull a dimension here. A lot of these dimensions aren't, I don't know, probably terribly important that they be perfect. So it's about 47 millimeters across. So I'm gonna grab this line right here. I'm gonna move it, hit the modifier key to copy and say 47, enter. Because I changed my length to millimeters, I don't have to type in millimeters. That is now the default. All right, so there we go. That's an outline of that shape. I draw one more line to just make it, force it. Copying a line over doesn't necessarily close a surface or a face. So just drawing over that line again made that face. Now, like I was saying, I'm going to go find the middle here to the middle here. I'm only going to draw half of this. This is a thing that I have eventually learned to save time and to save you guys from having to tell me to remember to do that. Speaking of things that I should be reminded to do, has that come up yet?
Nope.
That one word thing?
One word. Nope. Hasn't come up yet. Did get a question though from Jay Baker. Says, do you ever measure the side of a part, scale up the image, trace the image, and then trace the image?
The reason I don't do that is because Patrick wins. Patrick said the S word. The reason I don't do that is because zooming in on a small piece like this, looking straight at it like this versus a little bit of a turn this way or this way can really distort pieces. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard in real life to get a parallel projection image. So I generally don't. I will use it as a reference right here and pull dimensions wherever I can. But yeah, generally don't try to trace just because something big like a building where I'm kind of inferencing off of a match photo or something like that, that works. For something like this, probably not so much. Good question though. All right, so when I look at this, by the way, so talking about function, right? How does this actually work and what is the important part? The important part is this down here, right? So I want to make sure that this little gap right here, right? This is why I have this. This gap down here is perfect. This part needs to be just right. The rest of this big surface is just where it gets stapled onto the back of the drawer. These holes weren't even used in the dresser it was part of, so I'm not even going to bother with that. The rest of this plastic is really there to build up and give strength to the rest of it. So the part that's really important where I want to get it just perfect, as close as I can, is this section down here. The rest of this, I'll get it close. I'll get it looking a lot like this, but if I wanted to make this go up straight square, just keep this corner like that, I could do that. We'll go ahead and try to kind of match the same look, but just thinking about it, like that's not, model what's important, basically, is what I'm saying there. All right, so let's look at this. Let's get, let's figure out where this point is. And to do that, I'm just gonna, same thing, I'm gonna measure that piece. So that looks like that's about 20 from the top. So I'll just grab this edge right here, option copy that down 20. There we go, now we have that break there. That's crazy. That would be about, oh no, it's 27. Wait, what? Oh yeah, that's 40. Huh. That's crazy. That's the middle right there. All right. All right, so this kind of ends up angling up like that. To figure out where that is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to measure across here. How wide is this? And what I'm going to kind of try to do is imagine, right, that there's a line going up like this, and there's a line going up like this, and that. So I'm going to try to measure about where that is. Now there's not, because that's where there is no material, I have to kind of guess, but I'm going to let the tips of my calipers kind of run out a little long and say that's about 34 millimeters. Because I'm doing half, I want to break that in half and make that 17 millimeters. You know, I was just asking about how nobody reminded me to save, and then somebody did, and then I didn't do anything about it. Let's go ahead and hit save. All right, so this is coming together. Down here at the bottom, I can kind of use this as a.
Aaron did some maths.
I did. I talked a little bit extra there because it took me a second to do that math in my head.
Yeah, some people are saying parallax can affect making the dimensions getting out all out of sorts.
Yes, absolutely.
And then Ahmad asks, what about measuring the angles?
You could if you had the proper tools. I don't, so I'm not gonna. Um, the bottom was about 26 from, like I said, same thing, kind of running this down like that to about where this is right here. So from that corner across was about 26. So that gets me this look right here. Now, from there, this is the important part. Like I said, this gap right here, this how this comes up and this comes over. Yeah, you can see we're talking about parallax, and look how you can actually see it here also. See that straight line as I do that straight line across? Look how this comes out, because this is a little raised section. You actually see this a little better in my other. I don't know why I didn't scale down both photos at the same time. I also don't know why I called it a photo. That sounded old. That,
Are you dating yourself a little bit?
jeez, a photograph. But you can see how this angles down. So that point as it comes up, you can see it's making it look wider. So you can actually see, it's really hard to tell with the white on white. But yeah, that's, again, just driving home the point that I don't trace over images if I don't have to. Yeah, measuring the angle would be a great way to go about that too. Cool. Let's keep measuring here. I'm gonna measure how far in from the bottom up here to here is. So I'm gonna just pull that dimension too. Maybe going a little fast and loose here with these dimensions, but I'm gonna say that is, like I said, this is one of the more important ones. That's about 8. So I'm gonna come up here, come up 8. That's 8. So I'm just gonna draw it straight across. And then I'm gonna try to measure how big this gap is. So I'm gonna do that with the other ends of my calipers, the little inside measuring parts on the not broken end. And that's 3. So I'll take.
So Transom says most of the drawer guides have lugs on the back to reference the bottom of the drawer.
Yeah. Obviously, you buy higher quality stuff than I do, because I don't got that either. I did something wrong somewhere, because this is definitely not lining up. So here to here was 8. What did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't zero anything out. Okay, that's why my numbers are way off. Hold up, hold up. I got some things to verify. Okay, first that optical illusion that everybody's talking about. Hold on, undo, undo. this line should be down 5 more millimeters. All right, there we go. I'm like, there's no way that's right. My calipers were reset, where closed was set to 5 millimeters, so everything I just measured was off.
That would make a difference, yeah.
Off by 5. Oh man. Does that
I
include
remember to
this
zero
dimension?
out.
Ugh. All right, let's try this again. All right, so that makes this line has to go up. Oh, 14.
That's all right. People like watching you struggle, Aaron. Don't
Gosh.
feel bad about it.
Welcome. Yeah, okay.
Measure twice, draw once.
Absolutely. All right, so yeah, the inside is 8, so yeah, I would take that option. 8. All right, that's looking closer to what we got there. Okay. Oh man. Okay, the gap here from broken piece over, if I just measure inside there, But that's 20, so I'm just going to move this over 10. I'll just draw over 10. All right, there we go. So that gives us the outline of half that geometry.
Randy says draw once, undo twice.
That works too. But
But making sure.
now I hold up. My whole world's in doubt because I didn't reset my caliper. So let me check my overall height. Ah, it's 52. I feel like I want to blame somebody for that, but I think this one's squarely on my shoulders.
Yeah, you might have to find somebody to take the fall on that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we'll take this back over. How to correct things before you even get going. Overall is also 45, so it's oh, serenity now. All right. Take these two. Fortunately, inferencing makes it so this is not terribly painful, mostly to my ego, but all right, so that gives me an
Somebody's
overall.
asking, why not use guides?
I don't like guides. Totally a personal preference thing. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. I just don't. I've always found guides to kind of get in the way of, for me personally. So yeah, I just don't. I don't use them. All right. Gosh, it still looks way too big. It looks tall. 45. This is what it is.
Think that's going to change once it's shaped out?
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, I guess that looks okay. All right. Stop thinking. Just model, monkey. Jeez. Okay, so I'm gonna round off some corners here. I'm gonna grab my angle. I'm gonna save. But I'm gonna grab my arc, excuse me, and I want to set my arc fairly low. There's no need to put 12 sides on here. I'm just gonna make it like, I'm gonna cut it in half. I'm gonna say 6. And again, this is probably actually extra. I probably don't have to do that. I could probably just kind of round these corners over. Oh, that's what's missing here. That's why this looks a little bit off. This doesn't actually come all the way out. Largest length there is at about 4. So come here, go this way about 4. All right, there we go. That actually helped. The profile looks more correct there. So yeah, as I come in here and I create these arcs, I'm not terribly worried exactly. I mean, this inside the drawer, there's probably a good inch of clearance between where this is and the anything that's going to hit below on the bottom piece, the very bottom, anything like that. So I don't really have to worry about that too much. But I do want to still, there's strength in a curve. If I have two pieces that meet absolutely like this and I put tension, if I start coming in here, I push this direction on here, it's going to put tension on this piece. And if it's like this, all that tension ends up right at that 90-degree angle. So this is a simplified look at material engineering. If I put a round in there, it's going to actually spread out the tension, so it's less likely to break. That's why I come in here and just a little tiny arc like that. And I'm just going to double click to apply the same arc down there. That's going to make that piece stronger at the end, so hopefully less likely to have this happen. Of course, this piece had that too, but what are you going to do? All right, I'm going to keep
We're going to keep
arcing.
going. Transom says fillets and rounds.
That's right. All right, something like that. I like that. That's looking good. Yeah, nothing should be, I shouldn't have any sharp corners anywhere, ideally. All right, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to give depth. So this piece, if we look at it, I have a couple different heights here. I just tried to spin this 2D picture to the side so we could see the heights. Didn't work. Um, I have a height right here, this flat piece. This, like I said, this is where the staples go in to hold it down. And then it kind of slopes up to a second height here. And you can see this is actually, this section right here is depressed down in. My first thought when I look at something like that is, oh, it's probably to save material or something like that, but it's probably also to add some rigidity. So having those extra folds in there, the extra walls, makes it a little bit stronger down here where the pressure is going to be on the piece. So we'll emulate something like that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it up to the smallest height, which is, if I measure that, that is about 2.5 millimeters. So I'm going to take the whole thing, pull it up, 2.5. All right. Then at that point, right around here, just going to draw a line across. That's this bottom half versus the top half. And then we have this arm coming up. So I'm going to measure that. I'm guessing that's about, oh no, that's actually thinner. Nope, that's 2.5 also. So I will take this line right here, and I'm just going to offset. I'll select it, offset. No.
I don't know how to pronounce the username, but JNPCND. He says I can't tell you how many times I tried to orbit in other applications
It's
and in life
so,
in general.
or pinch zoom a magazine. That doesn't work either.
Yeah.
All right, so that goes up there, and it does kind of taper off and blend back in the piece around here-ish, so a little ways below that curve, that arc. So I'm just going to say that's here. And actually, I'm going to make this simple on myself, and I'm going to put that at a 45 degree, or at a 90 degree angle to this piece. Come here, around till I hit 90 degrees. There we go. Pull that perpendicular line off. That's going to make it a little easier to raise it up, I think. I don't know. We'll see. That's probably a lie. It's actually probably going to be easier to go like this. Okay, less talky. All right, almost there. Overall height of the actual piece is around 9. So I already came up 2.5. So I'm just going to pull the rest of this up 7.5. That gives me that piece. To close this up, I'm just going to draw a couple lines. I could try to get fancy in here, and there's really no reason to, though. Simple. Keep it simple whenever possible. There we go. So that gives us that half. So I got some pretty good strength there. This looks good. This flat piece looks good. Like I said, this piece right here, I think is just to add some rigidity. I could do that all one solid piece, but I'll go ahead and emulate what they got here. So I'll grab this, hit offset, pull that down. Maybe something like that. I'm gonna go a little bit bigger, and then like I was saying before, I'm gonna try to throw arcs in here. All these corners. Maybe I'll do this one across like this. Something like that. And what actually happens on here is that little indent is on both sides. It's really hard to see, but it's on both sides. So it's on the face, it comes halfway through, and then it's on the bottom, comes halfway up. I could do that. I mean, modeling's easy enough, right? I could take this piece, option copy it, drag it down underneath. That was weird. See how it flipped? Okay.
That wasn't intentional.
I don't know what just happened there. I don't know how that's even possible. Or I could bring it to the bottom side. I could take it up 9, so whatever, 7. So I could take it up 3.5 millimeters on both sides. I could do that. But because I'm printing this, I want to think about what's going to lay on the bed. And this right here, if I just keep this one big flat surface, I get all that adhesion to the bed. I don't have to do any support, right? I could, because everything's coming up, so there's no support. So instead of having this on both sides, I might just do this side and take it down like maybe 5 millimeters, something like that. That gives me a little bit of that rigidity. I think that's going to work just fine. That's going to be strong enough, not a problem. Doesn't mean you couldn't do that, but I don't see a need for it, honestly. Um, so I'm gonna come through and this is for my own just look and feel. I'm erasing these lines right here. Important to note, smoothing, and this was actually on our forum this morning. Somebody posted a file that they tried to 3D print, and when they pulled it in their slicer, they have a bunch of faces where it looked all smooth in SketchUp. Smoothing is strictly how it's going to look in SketchUp. So when I export, if I want to see what this is going to look like when it comes into my slicer, I can go to View, I can say Hidden Geometry. These breaks are the surfaces that I will see when I go into another slicer. So when I take this into my software to get it into the printer, I'm going to see these are flat surfaces. Now remember, these flat surfaces are going to be about that big, so like maybe 2-3 hair widths there. That's a teeny tiny thing. I'm not really worried about that. That should be fine. That's not going to be a big deal. This is also a utilitarian piece, right? I want to take pride in my work. I want it to look good, but I'm not really concerned about those pieces, those lines, surfaces showing up in the final model. All right, we're about ready to make this one piece. So what I'm going to do is select this. So this is the common face between the two halves. I'm going to delete it first. Then I'm going to grab everything and I'm going to say mirror, modifier key to copy, pull the red axis or the red face over to the middle. There we go. And then I'm just going to do a select, delete, and now I have one piece. That I will make a group, and if I'm lucky, it tells me it's solid already, which is awesome, which means I'm ready to just take that, file, export, 3D model, and then I will just export as an STL file. In options, one thing I always keep on is export only current selection. So that says only the group or component that you have highlighted right now is going to export when you hit export. If you forget to do this, that's when all of a sudden Heather shows up in your slicing software as some weird phantom over on the side, and I don't want that. I just want the piece I highlight. I have always left my file format to ASCII. I'm not even sure what the use of binary is. I just leave it at ASCII all the time. And I always export millimeters. So my model is in millimeters. I export millimeters. I know my slicer expects millimeters, so I just leave it all like that.
People are asking if you left out the screw holes on purpose.
I did.
Yeah.
Again, this is because you can see it. You can see it on here. See, these little holes are from staples.
John says wall thickness around the screw holes is also important.
So if this was going to get screwed in, let's talk about screw holes. Let's do it. So first, the reason I'm leaving it out is because this was stapled into the back. These screw holes weren't even. You can actually see this piece of plastic.
Hear you again.
Yeah. So I didn't bother because I know this is just going to get stapled back onto the back of the drawer. So I intentionally left it off. But let's talk about screw holes because I have a way of approaching screw holes. If I need a screw hole to be proud of the actual screw or nail or peg or whatever that's going into it, I will model that and I'll model it 0.15 or 0.2 millimeters larger than the thing that's going into it. So like if this was going to hang on a wall and a screw was going to go into it and it was supposed to spin freely, I'd make that circle 0.2 millimeters wider, or actually probably maybe 0.3, 0.4 millimeters wider than what the screw was going to hang on was. If I wanted it to be tight, I want this, a screw to go in here and there's going to be a mechanical connection that's connecting two pieces together and I need it to be screwed in tight. I've seen some people who just, go without it and then like drill a hole or something like that. I won't do that because then all you're really screwing through at that point is maybe 2-3 layers here, some infill, and then 2-3 layers here. So there's nothing to grab onto when the screw goes through, right? So if I wanted a circle here or a hole here, what I would do is I would go in like this. Here's how I would do it. I would come in here, find where it's supposed to be, and then I would do something like something very, very tiny. Because what's going to happen here is when it gets printed, it's going to get whatever my wall thickness is for my print, 2, 3 pieces of filament around this, which is going to make a hole that's large enough for a screw to grab into. So this maybe is a little too small, but I would do a hole that's significantly smaller than a screw that's going to go in just to get some plastic there for the screw to grab. So same thing with like if I do want to like go in and use a drill bit to create a hole, I'll do something like this just to get that hole started so I have a couple, because what'll end up happening is, this is what the plastic filament's going to look like. I'm going to have all these rings of plastic. So as the screw goes in there, it's going to bite into all those layers and kind of push them out, spread them out. That ends up being a more solid connection than just putting a hole right through the top and bottom face. So anyhow, there's my thoughts on holes in 3D prints. But for this one,
Aaron, I can't hear you again, but Jono from the
yeah.
comments says, is there a shrinkage factor for the prints? Obviously, it's not important in this example, but it might be an issue for some models.
Yes, so that is, I'm going to refresh Donovan as I say this. Yes, to answer your question, Donovan. Hopefully you can hear me again.
I can hear you. We're good.
Shrinkage will matter. So so here's my thoughts on that. If I was to print this and it needed to fit perfectly inside something else, where I needed like just an absolute perfect connection, first off, I probably wouldn't do it in an FDM printer, FDM being the one that, it squirts little molten plastic down on top of itself. I wouldn't do that if I needed something to be perfect. If that was the case. If that was my only choice or I had to do it, I would probably shrinkage versus expansion is kind of a weird thing, because when you first print in that plastic will a lot of factors. The your layer height, your wall width, all this stuff has to do with how big your plastic ends up being. I might intentionally model my stuff a little bit bigger and plan on sanding it down to a perfect mechanical fit if that's what I needed. So if I had 2 things that had to fit together just absolutely perfectly with 0 gap, I would probably, as much as I hate sanding PLA is the worst too. But I would rely on that to get a better perfect connection. If I had the option, I would print something like that out of resin, because resin has less movement between the original model and what comes out of the printer. So yeah. I think Jay Baker called out too. PLA shrinks less than ABS.
Speaking of perfect connections, Aaron.
Oh my gosh.
Like you froze on my end and I still can't hear you, but I'm gonna have you pulled up on listen to you there, but there might be a little bit of a delay, just letting you know.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to get you back where you're seeing what's going on. I don't know what's happening over here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know either. I don't know what's going on. All I know is you're there when there and then you're gone, and
yeah, I don't know.
It's hard when you're not around.
So Jay Baker pointed out that ABS is way more touchy than PLA. PLA does still shrink and swell a little bit based on temperature. ABS significantly more, but ABS is way easier to sand. So sand and finish, because you can finish it with acetone and give it smooth finish. So yeah.
Kai also chimed in, says there are settings in newer slicers that allow you to adjust for shrinkage when you have a tight tolerance.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, a lot of the stuff, it's funny because more and more printing considerations are being pushed off onto the slicer now, versus years ago, it was, it was all on the model. Like, I remember way back, if I had important things that needed to be supported, actually modeling supports into the model where they just barely touched and I could easily break them off because I didn't trust the slicer to properly support the print.
Yeah.
Brad's asking if this is hollow or filled. When you export a model to be printed, it should in SketchUp be a solid piece. The slicer's then going to take that exterior geometry and break it down into what's an exterior wall and then fill it in according to the settings you put in there. So yes, it is both solid and hollow. Right?
It's like Schrodinger's cat of 3D printing.
That's right. Is it this or this? Yes. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm gonna do a simple one now. So that's good. I'm gonna save that. Hopefully that kind of walked the line of our machine parts modeling. You guys remember when we did those? Kind of same thing where I'm gonna go very specific dimensions I'm gonna pull off of a piece, but then that gets and like I said, I did cheat a little bit. I did model this earlier. I did print it and I did put these in the drawer and they worked fabulously. One thing to consider when you print stuff like this, and we'll talk about this more with some of my other prints, but you want to think about orientation too. As I lay this down like this, the orientation of my exterior walls is going to be this way. So that's going to give more strength to this connection. This connection, like I said, if there's a force in here, it's going to be on these legs. So having the direction of the print be opposite, as opposed to if I printed it so the lines were vertical like this, pretty easily snap off that way. By having the lines go this direction as it slices, it's gonna make it a little more strong this way than I would see on if I moved it. So, and it makes sense, right? Because I'd lay this down flat, be good. All right, let's import another thing. One of the other things I wanted to do was, I said I have my vacuum here in my shop, and I want to print, because this is the end of my vacuum hose. It just sits there like that. So sucking stuff up can be a little difficult. So I want to get like just something where the end of it narrows down, so you get a little more suction, a little more precision with my cleaning. So I want to get something that's going to fit inside this collar, and then narrows down to a smaller, like even just a small hole. It would be good. So I want to do that. Hold on, I got to grab this.
I think that was the first thing that I ever 3D printed was a vacuum hose adapter.
Does this make it onto? Oh, look at that! That's the end of where it runs to. So yeah, so I want to make something that fits inside there. So I really only have 2 dimensions I want to pull. I want to see how big is this, and then how deep is this ring? How far does it have to go down to nestle inside all the way? I want it to be snug so I don't lose vacuum. So if I measure those 2, I'm going to set it to 0 first. Set my calipers to 0 so I'm not measuring extra. All right, so it looks like the inside is 38. So I'm going to start with a circle. 38, so that's 15 plus 3, 18. All right, so I'm going to make a circle with an outside of, should be 38 straight across. 36. Dang, so close. So I can change this to 19. There you go. As long as I don't change the geometry or connect any other geometry to this circle, I can use the entity info to change it. The other thing I don't like about that is the segments. We talk a lot about level of detail. What's the level of detail that's right for the model you're doing? This would probably be okay, but I want it to be a little smoother, so I'm going to double. I'm going to go up to 48. That gives me a pretty smooth circle. That's probably fine. I could go to like 96 if I want it to be even finer, but I don't know the reason for that. All right, so that piece, that should just fit snugly right inside this hose. I need to give it a wall width though, so let me see. I'll just match the width of the hose itself. So this outside dimension is about 4, this is 4 millimeters right here, so I'll just say offset that 4. So there's the outside there. So next thing I want to do is have it at least the length of this collar piece right here. And that, if I pull that dimension.
John is asking if there's a way to input diameter instead of radius.
There is not.
Kai says, yes, you can input diameter divided by 2.
That is true. So I could come in here. I could have gone 38 divided by 2. That would give me 38. So yes, I apologize. Ty caught me. Liar. Everything I say is now suspect, and you should not trust anything I do or say ever again.
I do have to say that is one of the cool things about SketchUp is the fact that you can input math calculations into the bar in your model, and it'll figure it out for you, so you don't have to.
Yeah, math, because math sucks.
Math does suck.
Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be. So I want to do a couple of these. Actually, I got some different ideas here. I'm not sure what's going to work best. I'm going to back myself up just a little bit. I'm going to draw a line over here. That is my 50 millimeters. Get rid of this. And I should get rid of this too. Okay. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a profile for a follow me. So it's going to look something like this. I'm going to come over, keep that 4 millimeter wall width I want on this piece. Something like that. And then I want it to narrow down to just a smaller piece. Like a circle's fine, but I want it to be smaller. So I'm just going to draw this on the ground just to see what it would look like if it was, okay, so that's 8 millimeters. The other thing that I like to use calipers for is to visualize dimensions. So if the inside of that hole was 8 millimeters, that's pretty teeny. That's that big. So I'd say, let's go up to 12. So I'm going to go 6. And then offset that, another 4. All right. Yeah. So bring that up, straight up like this. There's a method to this madness, I promise.
I'm sure there is. I'm just waiting for it.
All right, so I'm gonna take that across. So maybe I'll do something like that. All right, I like that. So I'm just creating what's basically, this can actually come up a little bit, make that symmetrical. What I'm creating is a profile that I can then just swing around this circle. Right, so I'll take this circle, follow me, click this, and there we go. Now I got that. I'm assured that this is my 50 millimeters, so that'll come right out to the edge just past this. Maybe I'll push this up, give me a little bit more like that. Maybe I'll grab all of that and actually raise it up a little bit. So there's a super simple, if I triple click, make it a group. And ooh, I got lucky. It's solid again. On desktop, if you want to check something for solid or if something's not solid, you can come in here and install the extension Solid Inspector. If you're doing this on web, which I think at this point...
You froze again, Aaron?
Oh, man. I just set a little reminder every 5 minutes that says refresh
I don't know if
meet.
it doesn't like me today or doesn't like you. Or
oh man, I don't know.
You're back.
Yeah, I just have to keep restarting. I don't know why. What's going on there?
I don't know either.
So that'll work. I don't love that though. I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna grab that circle. Actually, just copy that. I want to do another one that maybe maybe is something like this. I'm gonna bring this up here, put in my 4, and drop that back down. Grab this, follow me. So I got that original piece. Now I want to turn that into kind of a flat, suctiony bit part thing. Why is this? This is 30. Okay, so if I was to say, I'm going to do something like this. 28, and then we'll go up.
Randy says slice the smaller circle on an angle.
Ooh, that would be good. See, this is the design community I love so much. Let's do, okay, yes. Now offset this 4 real quick to get this piece. So I want something like that, which also needs to be cut at an angle. But I want to meld this point into this. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. Sometimes these ideas, they come to me, and I don't know how to make them happen, but we're going to figure that out. But yeah, let's go back to that first idea. Yes, having this at an angle would be awesome. So I'm going to do, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just draw.
Randy says it's called the crevice tool. Crevice tool.
Sounds rude. For cleaning out your crevices. So I'll do something like this. I'm not going to go with a specific. This is about a 35-degree angle. I'm just going to take that, make it a group. Grab it, slide it up here. When you do this level of when I have a big slicer like this, it doesn't really matter where it meets. So make this a little bit longer. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. Solid, solid. So I can take this one and go to tools, solid tools, subtract that from this one. Boom, look at that. Nice. Just gonna spin it a little bit because I like it. All right, that's awesome. Next, let's get into this thing. Like I said, I don't know what the plan is here. So let's look at some stuff. I wonder if I could do some cardinal point work here. This is not a circle anymore. I'm going to get rid of that. Same thing down here.
Transom says make the angled nozzle longer.
And then silence happen. Make this part longer. Sure, we can do that. All right. As for this guy right here, what I'm wondering about, I'm kind of wondering if I could come in another circle of 48. I'm going to start at the middle. I'm going to pull it out. This is 19. I want it to be 4. So I'll put it in 15. All right. I want...
Transom said so you can reach farther into crevices.
I don't have a whole lot of crevices. It's more about picking up heavier stuff that gets cut off.
Randy says for the crevice, draw a dome over the tube and then merge it with the square tube using solid tools.
Okay, that would be possible too. I'm thinking about a thing though. Here's the thing I'm thinking. I don't like to be. I don't like perfect workflows. I like. All right, there we go. Hey.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Looks like the last the part that was the cool unique part about this is where everything went away and yeah, I have no idea what happened there. I apparently due for an update of some sort maybe. I'm not really sure. Um yeah. So
Okay.
cardinal points is what I was talking about there.
Yeah. Everybody's asking you to repeat, or
All
if
of
there's
it.
an ASL plugin for SketchUp.
All right, I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna do this super fast. Boom, 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 boom. All
Hey,
right.
quick tip: you can undo up to 100 times in SketchUp.
Yes, sir. So true.
Yep.
All right. So every circle is made up of 4 points that are cardinal points. That is the going up the green and red axes where those points hit the circle. You can actually use move to grab that point and pull it, and you will distort the geometry. So what I'm doing right here is grabbing those points and letting them snap to that square like that. I'm not sure why it smoothed everything like that, but let me just draw some lines back over there to unsmooth it all. And there you go. So what's happening there is now the circle comes into the square. I'm going to do the same thing on the outside. Draw that back in. Take this. I'm going to offset it from that corner out to here where it snaps. Boom, like that. And then same thing. I'm going to move. Nothing selected when I move. That way I can move a point. Hover over the point, pull that back. Come out here, pull it back. Over here, pull it back. And then for whatever reason, this one got broken. So I had to do that. And then I had to pull the cardinal point of the next arc back as well. And that's when I broke the laws of thermodynamics or something and it all went away. I don't know what happened there. Let's try it like this. You push and you push and you push, and sometimes
It breaks.
it pushes back.
When did you last save?
I don't know. Let's find out. It's been a while since I've had this happen.
I know
Kind of
somebody.
fun.
I think what happened is somebody was talking about Notre Dame
Aw, dang
in the
it.
chat earlier, and it cursed us.
And I saw the C word go by. Somebody said Cobra too. Ugh.
Yep, yep, yep. Somebody's asking about the 3D mouse that you use. What brand is it, and what function do you use it for?
Absolutely. This right here is a Space Mouse Enterprise from the company 3D Connection. And it allows me to see if I can tempt fate here and try again. That time worked just fine. Son of a gun. You know, Earth, this is just this nice, easy. Why did I click? Don't click!
Oh man.
I just keep trying. I just keep pushing. I started in software development or in the software industry as part of what we would now call QA, quality assurance. When I was doing it, we just called it testing. It was just software testing. And I had a knack. That's how I got my job. I could blow stuff up. I could break things. I was good at it. Yeah, I guess some things don't change. All right. Let's do this. I'm gonna rather than push tempt fate again, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go view. I'm gonna turn on my hidden geometry, and I'm just going to draw this line and draw this line and draw this line.
Undo, weld, try again, Ty says.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. I don't know. Still feels like tempting fate. I'm just gonna do this because I know this is gonna work. Oh, that was a
Jay
stupid
Baker
thing to say.
says, you're a good tester when you can make developers cry.
Oh, I can make them sweat. I'll tell you that. Bring that around like that. There we go. All right. Cool. All right. So that gives me a piece that sits between these two. I'm going to grab this, bring it up a little bit like that. I don't have exact dimensions I'm working with for how this is all supposed to tie together, but let's see what I can do here. So I could grab, how would I go about this? Actually, it doesn't really make sense to even have this piece here. What makes more sense is for me to do something like take this and then move it.
Ty says, save.
Coward! Oh, I should also re-smooth these two corners. Or three corners. Okay. So then I could do something like grab this, move it in. That's not gonna work. Here's what I could do. I'll do this. I'll have to do it in two pieces. I can grab just the top face like this. I can I? Scale it about the middle, bring it in like this. This is going to give me, this is too narrow, right? This is, because this got thinner this way. But what I can do is I can scale just this. Because this is a bunch of broken, this looks like a rectangle, but it's actually, because of that hidden geometry, a bunch of little segments right there. So what I would have to do is select just those interior lines. To do that, I'm going to hit my modifier key to get to the minus, which is Option Shift, and then I can double click out. No, that didn't work.
Peter's asking, are you going for a friction fit or a transitional fit?
There will be no fitting here, okay? This is just, all these pieces will be one solid piece when I'm done. So that's what I got to get to right now. I just want to get this back so I'm going to take that, scale that. Oh, I got too much geometry somewhere. All I want is that inside rectangle. There we go. Get that more like there. That's it. That's all I was looking for. Okay. Save. All right. And then I can take that, extend that up. I know it looks ugly, but it'll be okay. It'll all be okay. Everybody be cool. Something like that.
Studio RT Cool says you could draw a temporary face that hold to select it. Draw a temporary face.
Yeah, that would have been a great
Yeah.
way to do it, Robert. You're absolutely right. Apparently, I didn't do that. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Let's cut it off. I want to cut it off at the same. Let's say I want to draw the same angle as this guy right over here. So let's match this. That'll work. Then you just grab all this geometry, right click, intersect face with selection. I'll break that right there, and then I can just erase what's on top. Delete. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sorry, things got a little squirrely there. Didn't quite break there. There we go. There we go. There's my two good looking attachments. This right now is a bunch of loose geometry, and this is a group. So I'm going to go ahead and explode this. I'm going to make all of this into a new group, and it is not solid. So I'm going to use my solid inspector extension. It's going to tell me, oh, you have an internal face, which I will fix. And now it is a solid group. So there we go. I now have two more pieces that I could export. If I really wanted to, I don't know why I do this, but I've seen people do this, and this question has come up before. I could take both of these and put them into another group and export that as a solid, and I could take that into my slicer and print it. I don't want to do that because I like having control of my slicer for how I place things on my build plate. So I would rather export this as two separate solids, take them into my slicer, put them where I want them, and slice them, rather than have a bunch of pieces together. Some people like to go in and organize stuff in SketchUp, and that's cool if that's what you do. I'd rather do that. The other reason I do that is because I want control over how I support my different items. So, I mean, both of these are pretty much perfect no support items, right? I plop that on the build plate, let it print straight up. I don't need any support. But I a lot of times will fine tune or tweak my support from one piece to another. And the only way to do that is to have each of those pieces in their own container inside of SketchUp and export as separate STLs. So there you go. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I was thinking more for what I would use it for, and this is literally for cleaning off a big 3-foot cutting mat of sawdust and that kind of stuff. So having the angle cut this way, which might make more sense if I was trying to clean out the inside of like a car or something like that, this actually gives me more of like a regular vacuum head that I could push across and vacuum up my tabletop. So the comment came in that it would make more sense to cut this direction to make that nozzle flat the other way. And in general, that's probably true, but for my specific case, this makes a little more sense for what I'm using it for. So, and I wasn't pulling rank because I don't know how to do that. All I would have to do is turn that face when I intersect.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear, yeah, that's what I meant to do. But no, this is actually this shape will work way better than cutting it the other direction. Cool. So hey, we got 2 of the 3 examples I wanted to get done. I'm going to import one more image. This is the most obscure. So we went from exact dimensions, things I had to fulfill exactly, to, at this point, we're going to make a thing up now. Let's say import. And I'm just grabbing these images and just dropping them on the ground and then dragging so they're, about the right scale. So this is a little planter I printed. It is really cool. It's a skull with the top cut off. It's got little holes in there to hang this. It's one of the few things I've downloaded. I got it from Thingiverse. I downloaded it and I didn't change anything. I just printed exactly as it was. And I don't do that very often. Maybe it's a control issue. I feel the need to go in and import things into SketchUp and change something before I print it. But I just printed this exactly how it was because it was cool looking. So in here,
Yeah, make it your own, right?
that's right. My print. This actually has in it. Did anybody on here go to make it to Basecamp Benelux in the Netherlands? One of the things they gave out was these wristbands that said 3D Basecamp, and in the wristband was some flower seeds. So they actually said when you get home, you can take this wristband and just drop it straight in the dirt, put some water on it, and flowers will come out. So I did that. Because life in general is too simple and I like to make things as difficult as possible, I did this before I actually hung anything up. I filled this thing with dirt, water, and seeds before I actually had a place to put it. So, yeah, you can see it's hanging there by my hand, but I would like to create a hook that I could put into my windowsill, just screw it in the wall right here that'll come over and hold this up off the ground. And yeah, doing that while it was empty apparently seemed too simple. So I filled it with dirt in my office, right next to my computer, before I actually had a place to put it. That's how I roll. But yeah, so what I want to do is just do kind of a simple hanging arm that can come off the wall here and pick up the end of this. So here's the design limitations or constraints. To go from here out to where it clears the wall, it needs to be about 4 inches. That's it. That is the only number that I need to worry about. 4 inches. Check. All right. You still hear me,
You being
Donovan?
quiet, or did you mute again? Okay.
Okay. I got distracted thinking about whether or not you could hear me, and then everybody was just quiet, all of us.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's really all I have to do. So this is a question YouTube just asked on YouTube. How robust, like how strong do I have to make this? So this skull's only this. Sorry, it's back behind all my camera gear on the windowsill, so I can't actually get to it very easily. But it's very light. It's got, the cup is about this big. I don't have to have this thing holding up like 7 or 8 pounds. It's probably all in less than a pound right now. Obviously I put water in, it's going to get a little heavier, but so this doesn't have to be super robust. This doesn't have to like hold 20, 30 pounds. I did not put drain holes in it. That was a question I had. I was actually thinking about making a single drain hole in the bottom of it, so still an opportunity to do that. But yeah, so the design constraints on this are pretty simple. So like seriously, here's the thing I have to worry about. I'm gonna draw it right here, 4 inches. All right, I have all of my required dimensions in the model. So when I've done some stuff like this, I did, the microphone I'm currently talking into came with a bent metal bracket to hang it off of a stand, and it didn't quite work right, so I actually ended up making my own. So I've done some stuff like this before, and it's actually kind of surprising how strong plastic, printed plastic can be. If I do, say, 3 walls, so 3 walls of thickness, and do like a 30-40% infill, it's pretty solid. Like I don't, I mean, it's not a structural, it's not a replacement for a structural piece of steel or something like that, but for this kind of application, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Ty is saying try printing with PET G. Absolutely, that would definitely make it a little stronger, less likely to break down over time. Um, I don't have that, but that would be a great way to do it. Uh, but yeah, anyhow, all that to say, I'm not really too
Ooh.
worried about the plastic breaking down, really.
Ricardo says print a skeleton hand with the finger extended to support it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you should do that. I would love to see that. I'm passing that along. That would be cool. Going like this, just kind of hanging out there and hanging on it. That would be sweet. I don't have that. And probably not going to do that in the next 30 minutes that I got to finish this model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just a pretty simple arm. So something that I can screw onto the wall that will come out and hang down. I want to also make it fairly easy to print. So I'm going to come down this way. So this is inches. So here's the thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my tool, my window, go to my model info, and I'm going to switch back to architectural. And here's why. Again, all this stuff that I did just now was based off of measurements I took, and that all made sense. When I'm modeling from scratch myself, again, not coming up in metric in general, I have a hard time visualizing what that should look like. So I know this way I want to say what is if I come down like this far, so I'm gonna come down 3 inches because I can visualize that a little bit easier. I need to give this some length. I'm just doing broad strokes right now. I'm gonna do like a 1/2 inch. Yeah, I think that'll work. Again, just getting my blocks, kind of like I did on the first piece, how I just kind of, made some outlines, shapes, overview. That is kind of what I want. That's simple what I need. I can make this a little more fancy now. I can round some corners, obviously, that kind of thing. But yeah, let me start with that. And then I give it a little bit of width, maybe. What is an inch? That looks chunky. But that's okay. Maybe chunky's good. Maybe I want to keep it kind of robust. Come down a little bit. 3/4 of an inch.
Will says you should make the top section longer to get into smaller spaces.
I'm assuming that has to do with this. This is not actually, like I was saying, this is not actually to get into vacuum anything. This is just to vacuum off my countertop, so not too worried about getting in anywhere. But yes, if I was making an attachment that I wanted to like take in my car to clean it out, that is absolutely a good way to do it. All right, so one thing I want to think about here too is orientation, right? So we were talking about the strong grain with and against the grain. One of the things I was thinking about with this is, well, could I rotate it and print it like this? Because if I did like that, then I could make my base wider and maybe put something fancy on it. Doing it like this though means the grain's going to run like this, which is the weak axis. So if I put weight on here, it's more likely to break if I do that. Whereas if I keep it like this, the grain's going to be going this direction, which is going to mean more strength in here. So I think I'm going to leave it flat like this and design it so I can print it flat like that. Yeah. I'm going to play with this shape. So this is going to be the basic shape of my hanger. So now I'm going to come in and do some things. Some things I did talk about before. I'm going to put an arc right here. Right? That's going to give me more strength right there than if I just had that piece go straight across. Not very pretty yet. Not very pretty at all. I'm going to put a hook kind of thing here. So there's 1/2 inch.
Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to be functional, right?
That's right. Come down 3/4 of an inch, maybe. Oh, that's chunky. I like it. It's so... Oh, it's so ugly. Sometimes. All right, so you tell. I mean, it's got an IKEA vibe. I'll put a couple screw holes right here. Screw it in the wall. It'll probably hold it up just fine. I can probably narrow this down a little bit. Um,
No IKEA had a vibe, but
it's
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
yeah, carved out of a rectangular piece of fiberboard. That's the IKEA
Yep.
vibe, wrapped in vinyl. It's got that look. I could see putting a base on this and calling it a banana stand or something.
Ransom
Um,
says, won't it be weak at the 90-degree bend due to the grain?
going like this. Yeah, so right here might be a little bit weak. I should probably come in and do the same thing. Oh, let's drop my sides down. Forgot how small I'm working with here. Take all of those over. I'm designing my function first. Form comes next. There we go. That'll help a little bit. Yes, I mean, to that question, this is not... the direction of the grain's not perfect because that will put it on the weak axis, but it's also very small. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't really know what I'm doing. All right, I'm just gonna start playing with some stuff here. I'm gonna maybe round out that corner and that corner. Maybe these two also. Get that the exact same arc.
Kai says, I've learned a new trick.
All right. What was that? Was that because of me, or is that just something that happened in the comments and I just happened to be nearby?
He didn't specify.
Stop snapping. That looks ugly. I'm going to increase. That didn't work. That's a mess. Let's try it again. Actually, here's what I'll do. Something like this. I'll probably put a circle from the middle, pull it up like that. That way I get a perfect half circle without having to mess with snapping. All right, I kind of like that. That looks kind of nice.
Save.
Oh, fine. Other than Solid Inspector, I haven't used any extensions at all. But I feel like I want to use bevel on this thing. So I'm gonna. That's all. That's kind of all there is to it. So, I think this is the part that connects to the wall. So I'm going to keep that flat. I'm going to keep my 90-degree angles all around there. Leave that just like it is. But the rest of these, I want to come and round out, I think. And I'm going to use the bevel extension. So I want all of that and that. I don't want this. Yeah, we'll bevel that. I think I got it all. Got all the edges I want to bevel selected. So I'm now go to tool extensions, bevel tool. Let's see. Perfect. No, let's do like a 1/4 inch, comma, 4 segments.
Ty says, might be a little too late, but I'd round the inside corner on the hook for strength.
I'm not 100% sure I know what that means. Inside of the hook? All right, I'm just keep moving because maybe this will do whatever that is. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like this. I should point out this is sitting in my office, so this is not exactly like maybe the most up-to-date architectural or interior design forward-thinking space in the world. So it's kind of
Ricardo says, is
utilitarian
the
piece.
length of the hook enough to the size of the skull?
Yeah, so that's about a 1-inch key ring that holds it up right here. This right here. So let's draw that. So that's about the size of the thing that's going to hang there. Yeah, I think that'll work good. I have a couple different bevel extensions. Occasionally they do this, and it's just somewhere the geometry is crossing got a little funky. To clean this up, I'm just going to turn my hidden geometry on and try to look at it and see if I can figure out where it broke. 9 times out of 10, this is my solution, is to grab the pieces that are not where they should be. Right click, intersect face with selection. I'll break them off and I can grab these pieces, delete, delete.
Ooh.
Wow, I got a little,
Whoa.
some stuff got squirrely and I don't know why. I'm just gonna come in here, clean it all up. I'm gonna have to stitch this together.
Oh, man.
Yeah, look at this weird, what?
Yeah. What?
All right, hold on, undo a couple times. I didn't grab enough to intersect with, that was the problem. All right, none of this is this actually break? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna grab all this, right click, intersect face with selection. Now, I'm not sure why that shows up as one piece. So I'm just gonna come in and, nope, doesn't matter. Huh, that was weird. That was a weird thing that happened. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, everybody chill. All right. Let's get this down here like that, close that up. And then I come in here, get rid of these interior pieces that I don't need. I don't even know what this is. Or this or this. Yeah, I don't know. So obviously the one of the paths I could have taken too was to unbevel that and go back and try to fix it up. But when I look at this, I mean this whole piece is about this big, right? So this doing a little bit of stitching to just close it up seems like the easier solution than troubleshooting what all happened there. Part of that's coming from the fact that I've spent way too much time on live streams in the past trying to troubleshoot something that should just be thrown away. So maybe that's that part of my brain firing right now. But yeah, just broke some faces that didn't need to be. See that like this, when this happens, look at all this. See all this stuff right here? I can actually just come in here, get rid of it, and then I don't You know what you're doing here. Get lost. Draw these two lines. That's all I actually need there. That closes it up. All these fancy extra lines. Sometimes simple is better. All right. I think that'll work. I kind of like that. I wonder, what are the odds this is solid? Tisn't.
Hmm. Peter says, are you working with two small radius curves?
It's
Could you
possible.
scale up, round under, round over, and then scale down to the original size?
That is very good point. I think I have, yeah, 4 segments going into a 1/4 inch or 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 inch. That was pretty small. That was probably not the ideal way to do that. Oops, got a piece here. Is it missing or is it backwards or is it extra? Let's see if that solids it. That solided it. Yeah, so it's utilitarian, but I kind of like it. That's not just because our time's almost up, but it is partially because our time's almost up. I think it'd be kind of fun to go in and make something like that, like a plant hanger, but like spend more time on it and go for a specific look. Like a lot of times you have the brace coming up here. That could be like a plant leaf or a vine with a leaf on or something like that. That would be kind of a fun thing to spend time on, but not today because today we're almost done. I'm gonna put some holes in here. I'm gonna hidden geometry because I want to hit objects in geometry because I want to inference the center line right here to here. And here's a thing that I know that from my own personal past experience. When you're designing something like this and putting in screw holes, make sure you put the screw holes in a place you can get to. What I mean by that is if I come in with my screw gun and I try to put a screw right here, guess what? That hook's in the way. So I'm going to be screwing up at an angle like this, or I'm going to be screwing up. That's what's going to happen there. So maybe my lowest one, maybe I'll in something like this, I'll grab this line, divide it. Maybe I'll do like 4, and then I'll put a circle right here for one of them. The other circle I'll put right here. And then I think that will be good enough to hold it up. Again, I'm not looking, I know I'm pretty far up. Maybe I'll go a little higher. Maybe I'll take this guy right here, scoot him this way a little bit, but not so much that I can't get to it with a screwdriver or a drill bit. Cool. I've done exactly that thing where I've created something and I'm like, I can't actually screw it in
Kai
because of the way I
says
put it.
if you use diamonds versus a circle, you won't need support for the holes either. John says pocket hole from the top, so screw is at an angle.
Oh, now you guys are just getting kooky. I just need a thing to hang my skull on, man. No, all good ideas. Here was my thought, right? I was gonna do that, and then I was gonna say, okay, now offset that, take these 2 circles, move them in, so a little bit of a countersink going on there, and then I was just gonna put 2 drywall screws in there and be done. Yeah, I guess if you wanted to, you could come and do like, yeah, angles from the top or the bottom. Just trying to X-ray real quick. I could have a lot of length here. If I had a long screw, I could start right here and bring it down like that to screw in. One could. A diamond versus circle. That's what I'm working on right now.
Mm.
Diamond versus a circle. Yeah, there's all kinds of good. Oh, yeah, on the back. I gotcha. Um, yes, these are all great ideas, and maybe we should just do a whole thing on plant hangers because apparently there's some wisdom and enthusiasm about it. Tell Tyson he's doing plant hangers next week.
Okay, I can do that.
No, I mean, thinking about this too, one of the things I wanted to make sure of was the direction that this is supported from, because maybe this is putting the effort in the wrong place, but coming straight out with a hook like this puts this so that my skull's 45 degrees from the window, so it's looking right at me if I have a hook this way. What could be easy enough to do too is have this peg that's coming out here go put a recess on it so the hook could slide over and just sit down into it. But like I said, that would rotate at 45 degrees so it's looking outside rather than at me. Which probably just means retying this knot. But I retied this like 3 times just to get it stable, so I don't know if I could change the direction by that.
Tyson is requesting, Ty is requesting more 3D printing.
All right. That's definitely a thing we could do. Macrame. Whoa. I did do, a while ago, I did filigree. I modeled some filigree in a skill builder. I cut some corners, but it worked. It was what I said it was supposed to be. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Like I got 4 solid models out of this, and I feel pretty good about them. It's kind of looks like a paper or a toilet paper holder when I look at it now. So maybe I got multifunction out of that, so I could actually use it in the bathroom as well. I don't like how this is not smoothed right. There we go. I like that better. But yeah, there we go. Those are 3 things that I will be throwing on my printer. And I will actually have them, and they will exist, and they'll be functional and not just, another pencil holder that I feel like this is the kind of stuff that I printed over and over when I first got a printer, different things to hold existing things on my desk. So unlike that, this has a function that is totally different and yeah, pretty fun. But I think we'll wrap it up there. We do have a hey, there you go. YouTube said it's a toilet paper holder with a spot to put my keys. So we've all been in that situation before, right? Yep. Yeah, we got a couple requests for more 3D printing models. We'll leave the chat open for a little while. If you guys have ideas that you think would make good live models, let us know. I said it was a lot of fun to do a collaborative modeling month and work on that coffee shop and do the different pieces of it. That was really cool. Let us know what else you guys think would make for good live models. Like if there's a specific, we've done specific buildings in the past, like, identifiable landmark type buildings. We've done topics, we've done, rendering sessions, we've done different extensions that have been focus of live modeling sessions, but let us know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. If you're watching this after live and you made it this far, first off, great job. Usually,
Yeah.
What's our average view? 4 minutes, something like that? 3.5?
Yeah.
Well done.
Especially with all the audio troubles. Thanks everybody for
man.
hanging in there.
Thanks for rolling with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing I do need to point out is 3D Basecamp is coming. It's a coming. So if you have interest in joining us at 3D Basecamp, we would love to have you. It is I'm going to say without a doubt, it is the best spot to learn more about SketchUp. It's a great spot to, if you're already enthusiastic about SketchUp, maybe it's a great spot for you to teach SketchUp, to show other people what you think of how you use SketchUp and how they could use it too. Um, it is coming up. It's this November. It's going to be in Las Vegas. It is tickets are available right now. We actually have a severe discount going on. 700. Is that right? $700 off if you
Something like that,
buy
yeah. Something
today.
crazy.
So that's going on for another 2 weeks. 2 more weeks, you get $700 off. The price is going to go up significantly in March. So if you know you're going to go, now's the time to buy. I apologize. Unfortunately, our content that's going to be up there is not available yet, so you can't see everything. But if you've been before, it's a lot of the same. Oh, no, that sounds negative. It is the same caliber of content that we're going to commit to. Professional
Yeah.
SketchUp users showing their workflows, teaching you. We'll have some all stars, Nick Sonder, John Brown. I'm speaking for people who I haven't heard from yet, but I'd imagine
Yeah.
Daniel Tall, a lot of the same guys who always bring amazing learning experiences in. They're going to be there to teach, and I'll be there, and Donovan will be there.
Yep.
Case made, right?
If that
What,
doesn't convince you, that doesn't get you off the fence,
come
then I
on,
don't
what
think
else you
anything
need?
will.
Yeah, come on, come hang out with us, and yeah, like I said, get your ticket now while you can. Save some money to use in Las Vegas instead. I guess I don't know. Um, yeah, that's pretty much. Is there anything else I was supposed to say that I didn't, Donovan?
No, I think we covered all of our bases.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, YouTube called out Chris Rosewarne. I hope that Chris will be able to be. He was supposed to be at Base Camp 2020, but got COVID like the week before, so he couldn't come. It's kind of a bummer. But hopefully Chris will be there and show us whatever he's been working on in the last couple years. That would be exciting, fun to see his work. So all right. Well, then we'll call it. Like so, leave the chat up. So if you guys think of something specific you'd like to see modeled or you think would make a good session, leave it in the comments. Otherwise, we will see you all next week. I don't even know who is modeling next week. Uh, Eric or Tyson will be modeling something.
Yep.
Safe
And
safe bet.
I might be back here if that's the case. So we'll
That's
see.
true. More Donovan for you. So,
Yep.
all right, you guys have an awesome weekend. If you are in the U.S. and you get Monday off, enjoy a nice long 3-day weekend. Otherwise, yeah, have a fun, safe weekend, and hopefully we'll see you guys all next time.
See ya.